Welcome to another edition of Your Impact Attack. That's right, it's your Impact Attack. Please take this Impact Attack. It's becoming a burden, and we cannot carry it any longer. But who are we? I'm Jamie Williams, also known as the Vet. With me, as always, my tag team partner, Brandon. I'm going to tag straight to the camera, Brandon. What do you think about that? Boom, tagging you in. What's going on?
No, I like that change. I think that works a little bit better.
It does. It does, especially if anybody's ever watched the VODs and seen how the camera being flipped and everything causes us to not actually ever tag. But we're tagging something. But now I think if we just reach out, we're tagging the people too, the C in the VBC. We're tagging you guys in. But how are you doing, Brandon? How's it going? How's everything out there?
I am doing well. I am really getting bored of these compilation themed shows that Impact keeps putting out that don't really advance or get any business done. It's basically just like, all right, we did this whole announcement of rebranding back to TNA at Hard to Kill, and we're not going to do anything to drum up interest, make you excited, make you want to tune in and check it out. No, we're just going to put everything in cruise control and just produce the laziest shows we possibly can. And when I say produce the laziest shows possible, I'm not talking about like the work the people in the ring are putting in. I'm talking
Sure.
about the actual production and putting together of the shows. Oh yeah, we have all this footage of matches that didn't air. Yeah, we'll just throw it on there with some commentary in between.
Yeah. How would you like to be one of the talents who had a match and didn't even know if it was ever going to see the light of day? Like, oh yeah, we didn't use that for TV. Like, oh, okay. Then it just shows up on one of these. Like, do you even know? Do Yuya Uemura ever even see his farewell match? Like, did he know that it ever aired? Will he know that at all over in Japan as one of the five guys? Just five guys? Does he know? Did he watch this Thursday? Who knows? We don't know. Hmm. So yeah. So once again, we are turning to you in the hopes that perhaps we'll have enough content to make an entertaining Impact Attack for you guys. Um, and by you guys, we mean the C in the VBC, which is the chat. And so, who do we have with us to start off this evening? Although I admit we are a little early yet. It could be more.
Let's see who we got with us right now. We got Media M5, Javi Uchida, Lab Rat, and Elizabeth. How you guys doing tonight? Whoop whoop.
That sounds like a four pillars, if I've heard them. Um, so yeah, so we'll get things. Okay, so TNA, right? Allegedly TNA, if that's what they do call themselves these days. Um, Not really putting on anything great for TV. Guess they don't really care. They've got other things that they're focusing on. Like we talked about last week, we talked about them having an app, right? We're getting TNA Plus in January with Endeavor, which was, you know, kind of curious and fun that, you got Endeavor and WWE with a merger as TKO Group Holdings or whatever, and then you got their streaming app, and then you're gonna have, I don't know if they're not even gonna have any WWE content on that, but it is interesting that they have TNA content, right? And
It
then
it
and
wouldn't surprise me if TNA ends up selling to Endeavor in the next 5 years.
if I were Endeavor, I'd be like, oh no, thank you. We already have a wrestling.
Well, to be fair, though, that tape library is I think there's some value in that
Mm, mm,
because there's some names that there's decent sized chunks of their careers that happen there.
well, I don't see now. I don't know about that only because one of the news stories recently that we didn't really cover because we didn't have any reason to, but a week or so ago, uh, it was announced that WWE is going to be shuttering their, like home video division.
Yep.
Um, with this year's Survivor Series being the last thing that's getting pressed to a disc, as far as I know. So now, if you have a tape library and you don't have a home video market, you can't really monetize that. You can use the footage for packages and stuff that people are going to skip when they're streaming it on Peacock or whatever else ends up getting WWE content in the future. Um, but you can't really sell it now. You can't sell those like AJ Styles DVD, like you don't want none, the AJ Styles story or whatever. Whatever they would call it, and use the old TNA footage where he made the majority of his career, right? Like you can't sell that DVD based on that anymore. So the footage that you own is now useless to you simply from a money making standpoint. So then you have to wonder, like, is it worth even buying a wrestling company for a tape library anymore, making a deal for it? It seems kind of strange, but maybe there's things I'm not taking into consideration for this.
I don't know. I think there is some value in just that footage. I mean, there's so many other ways that they can find ways to monetize and get use out of it.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like companies are it's like they want to have the money, but they don't necessarily always want to do what it takes to make the money anymore. You know? I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. But anyway, regardless of their TV show, perhaps they have not been putting on a good TV product because they've been busy moving and shaking as a company, getting things done. We have a few news items here that we can talk about what TNA's up to these days. And one piece of news, Kushida signs with TNA officially. I know Media M5 will be happy about that. His favorite wrestler, Kushida, has finally got a home. Kushida's living in the United States, working for New Japan. That's got to be a pain in the ass. It's going to make you not want to go over there, right? So it only makes sense to have, like, a place in North America if you're living in the United States that you work for on a more consistent basis. So it's a good move for Kushida. And, he did an interview saying things like, he thinks Will Ospreay is the best right now, or he wants to be the TNA champion. He feels like he needs that for his career, things like that. So we got a Kushida. We got a Kushida joining TNA. Any thoughts on Kushida?
I mean, I think he's a good addition, but again, they just need to use him a little bit better and be more creative with him.
Well, he's gonna wear the Marty McFly life preserver, so as long as that happens, everything's good, right? In other business news, TNA has signed a new action figure deal with what is this called? Power Town Wrestling. So Power Town Wrestling, I guess, makes wrestling toys of people that nobody else owns the license to. So I looked up their website upon reading this. Was like they have like a Legends line, I guess, which is the only thing they have, like a 5-figure set of some guys, like, they're like Vern Gagne, Luthez, they had Magnum TA, they had a Stan Hansen, they had Kerry Von Erich, so some of the interesting wrestlers, and the toys look all right. But I'm still mad that TNA made that last deal with a wrestling figure company and they canceled my Moose action figure. So there better not be, they better have a Moose in Series 1 and they better actually make it this time. Instead of just, some whack prototype or whatever. But hey. Yeah. So there's that. I mean, perhaps they were just too busy, shaking hands and signing contracts with these things to put together a show for us to watch. It could be something.
No, I'm not gonna deny these are bad business deals. These are, good for them, and it's good for their bottom line. But you can still put the effort into your show.
Yeah, could. Here's another interesting move. David Penzer is being replaced as the ring announcer. And stepping into those shoes will be Jade Chung. Now, if you're sitting there saying, who the hell is Jade Chung? Well, yeah, that is Mrs. Josh Alexander. So she's going to be the ring announcer for TNA going forward. Does that get everybody excited?
Yay!
Yeah. All right. Another big major move shaking up the industry by TNA Wrestling. And finally, a rumor, just a rumor. Scott D'Amore is putting it out there and stoking the fires. He's saying that there's going to be a big signing that TNA is working on getting finalized, and it's going to be he's saying it's going to be a big deal. And he's kind of comparing it to like when they brought in like a Stinger, Kurt Angle back in the day or whatever. He says it's going to be like something big like that, I guess. So it's led people to speculate on who it might be. Feel free in the chat to speculate on who it might be. But that also kind of, yeah, me about James Storm. So yeah, that'll shake everything up. Sorry about your damn luck. Yeah. Well, this would kind of lead into a question that Chris Winland asked on Twitter about like what free agents do I think could come to TNA and make a difference? Could we think? I mean, not just me, but like, what do we think? And is there anybody that we would want to see regardless? So, and I always kind of like when I hear questions like that, I'm like, I don't know, because I don't really keep up with who's actually a free agent. There's like a bunch of people that are probably available, but I don't really think about it in those terms because a lot of the best people are signed up. So I don't know. But Scott D'Amore thinks he has somebody, and there seems to be either an ongoing or a future exodus of New Japan wrestlers because we're seeing Will Ospreay signing with AEW. We're seeing Kushida coming to TNA. There's rumors that Okada is looking at do more stuff in the United States, and he's going to be at this TNA show. You know, it could be some disgruntled a state of affairs in New Japan. So we might be seeing some of the guys that have been primarily making their living over there looking to go elsewhere. So I don't know. Who could Scott D'Amore have up his sleeve? Who do you think?
Sammy Callahan.
I guess technically it's a free agent if he didn't re-sign for a period of time.
No, the only person I think that has the charisma and just the magnetism and just the way he can command a crowd to actually like move the needle and make a difference is Enzo.
I like that pick, but is that something that Scott D'Amore would think is like a game-changing signing?
Right.
I mean, whoever he signs, he's going to think he's going to want it to be a big deal, I'm sure. You know, Trent Seven notwithstanding, but the idea is if you're going to go out there and tell people ahead of time, hey, we're bringing in somebody big, you know, you're already setting the expectation. You could have just said nothing and let people find out at, I assume, Hard to Kill. He'll probably review it or like reveal it. I mean, right. So you could have just said nothing and let it be a surprise. And he said there are some surprises. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know who else. I don't know who else would like could really like be a big time game changing new signing.
I don't know either. And as for who I'd want,
and TNA's always had they've always had a history of over promising and under delivering.
Yes, they
I
have.
mean, who can remember the August 1st, 2013 whole thing and ended up being Tito Ortiz?
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully they're a little more self-aware now, though. I'm not sure about that. Um, yeah, I don't know. As for who we might want to see, it's like that's a trick question because TNA seems like a punishment or a spot where you end up rather than like a real destination. So like if there's anybody out there that's a good prospect, I don't know that I'd want to see them in TNA. On the other hand, it with the right focus, it can be enjoyable. I mean, um, had Moose not stuck with Impact and TNA these years, would he have just been another guy to get lost in the shuffle somewhere else in a bigger company? Is it the fact that he's in TNA that he gets to stand out so much and do the work that he's doing? Maybe. So, but who needs that right now? If you were to look at a big name, you're looking at a big name making a step down. And that's kind of sad, right? Like I don't want to see that. But God, there's some people that I don't know. I'm trying to think. Who have I seen outside of the major companies that have been a good I'll tell you there's this giant kid in New Japan right now named Oscar Loibe that he's going to be a star as much as long as he wants to. Um, but he might stick with Japan for a while. But I would get him now if I could. I'd just get him now. Um, who else? Trying to think of somebody for the women's side. Uh, I would get Julia if I could.
Emma's the only one I could, and name I could think of.
Mm.
Or what's her nuts? Or what's? Oh, I'm trying to blank of what her real name was. I feel dumb right now. It's completely drawn a blank. But whatever Emma's real name was.
Emma?
Yeah.
Oh, Tennille Dashwood?
Tennille Dashwood, yep.
Damn. Yeah, she's not gonna be a game changer.
Yeah, and I'm surprised we didn't get the captain and Tennille in WWE as a rib on both of them. Her and Moss.
Right. Could get
that's
saying Dolph Ziggler.
I didn't think about her, Mercedes Moné.
Mercedes Moné, yeah, just.
But yeah, the only thing is that Tony would easily outbid for her.
Yep. Or Hunter might outbid, or she might take less to go back, just because she knows the deal. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's I'm sure there's some people I'm forgetting, but I mean, we'll just have to see, I think, with what TNA is going to be as opposed to what it has been, who would be a good fit for it. If they really are trying to do big things and do something different and they're not just switching out the ring aprons, then it may be a place that people might want to actually go, especially if Anthem opens up the purse strings a little bit and is willing to invest a little more in the product. So I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. But that is all the news that I have regarding TNA Wrestling. Any other big news out there that we should talk about, or
Man, not a whole lot going on out there, except we had this big CM Punk return, and then it just kind of fizzled after that.
Yep, they
and we do need more Wrestle House. That'd be better than what we've been getting these last few weeks, since Bound for Glory.
Yeah. Oh, it's getting harder to argue. It's not really the biggest Wrestle House advocate, but at this point. No, I think I'd still rather see a clip show of unseen matches. I think I personally would. But yeah. Well, that leads us to our episode of Impact, which is a clip show of unseen matches. In case you didn't know.
So it's come to this.
So it's come to this, an Impact clip show. Yeah. So let's go over the matches, I guess.
And at least like So It Came to This had enough entertaining original content in between the clips to keep you engaged.
Yeah, this was not really. It was if there was anything new, it was, and by new I mean just not from those things. It was like they just showed the packages we already saw. Like we saw the big Okada package that they put on last week, and they just showed it again here.
Like I got by watching this week's episode just by watching the matches they posted on their YouTube channel.
That's all you need. That's all you need. Well, the first of these matches was Alan Angels versus Samurai Del Sol. This took place back in October in Chicago. Tom and Gia on the call. These guys have a match. Now remember, Alan Angels is one of these guys that walked away from AEW and bet on himself to come here and have a match that got cut so that it could be on a clip show in December. So he and Frankie Kazarian should form a tag team called the Gamblers. And then you got Samurai
with the Good Hands.
That's right. The Gamblers versus the Good Hands. Then you can you got Samurai Del Sol, who, look, I'm sorry. No, I don't want to disparage this guy, really, professionally. But I think that the only thing I really can remember about his run is that he got to go over on Ryback when they were ribbing him on the way out. You know? Like, that's what I remember about this guy.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
and the Lucha
bro,
Dragon deal where he does the,
oh yeah, Lucha
chant.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, I remember that thing with him and Ryback. I think Ryback dropped the U.S. belt to him, and I think Ryback kind of knew what was going on, so he basically, like, as a way to kind of stick it up their ass, he did it as professionally as possible.
Yep. All that stuff, and it didn't work out for either guy, really. No. In the end, they realized, like, okay, now that we've ribbed Ryback, now what? Now this guy's the U.S. champion. It's just one of those things where they're so busy concentrating on fucking with people that they don't really think about their own product. Thankfully, they seem to have gone away from that in recent times, but that doesn't mean that they're perfect. For example, like you said about the Punk fizzling, he and Seth Rollins had a fire promo interaction on Raw last week, and this week Punk's not there on the show. So I signed an exclusive contract to Raw. Well, I mean, sometimes I'm at Raw. So it's like, hey man, whatever he's got to do, whatever he's got to take care of, but at the same time, how are you keeping the people invested in this? I don't know. You think, like, so Punk shows up on Raw, does a promo. People are like, that's not the promo we wanted. Then next week, he's not on Raw. So they're like, okay, I thought he was going to be on Raw. The third week, he's on Raw, and he has a great appearance all night. He's on there multiple times. He gets face to face with Seth Rollins. You know, it's very intense stuff. And the ratings are lower than they were the previous week. Now, why is that? Because people were already conditioned 2 weeks in a row to not get what they wanted. So how many times are you going to go back to it? So now they're probably going to be like, hey, I heard that Punk and Rollins on Raw last week was great and I missed it. Well, I better watch this week. And he's not going to be there.
I think it's more of that petty bullshit setting Punk up to fail so they can basically say, see, look, you weren't as great as you thought you were.
Maybe, but I mean, I don't know.
Either that or that's just straight incompetence on the booking and the writing.
Well, they have a lot more history of that too, so it's really hard to tell sometimes. Which is it? Is the incompetence or the competent pettiness? It's a coin flip. Which is a gamble. Which reminds me of the tag team we're supposed to make with Alan Angels and Frankie Kazarian. And nonetheless, Salida Del Sol off the top rope, like totally unnecessary. And he puts Alan Angels away. Does Samurai Del Sol. So, woohoo.
I remember like when the time you would hit your finish off the top rope when it's a big match, a big blow off. You have all this heat, all the story going into it, and you hit your finish that's on extremely rare occasions such as this, it gets kicked out of. And then you hit it off the top rope as like, okay, you ain't kicking out of this one.
That's right. We're in All Japan. This is 1993. This definitely sounds like what we're doing. Yeah, man. No, you just do it to make Alan Angels feel better about taking an L. That's basically what you're doing. Well, it was off the top rope, Alan. Come on. Like, it took that to beat you. You should be proud. MK Ultra versus Giselle Shaw and Savannah Evans is another match. This was in June from Atlanta. And this was probably if I look at the timeline, it's probably pre MK Ultra because they came out separately and didn't have like a team name yet. So.
Yeah, and then when Amash went over, she went. Her individual music played.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there you go. But I just wrote down here like Masha Slamovich is so good. She's somebody that needs a bigger stage than this. Unfortunately, she spends most of her time doing like indie death matches and bullshit like that, going, picking a bunch of tacks out of herself every night in a hotel room somewhere and all this ridiculous garbage match shit, but she's really, really good and it's wasted.
The way she came into this company, like I was kind of little critical of it, but looking back now, like I thought that they handled that perfectly for her. And then she lost to Jordan Grace and all that mystique and aura just vanished.
Yep. And now she's kind of in this tag team. Sometimes. But I noticed one of the things that she did here that I don't recall ever seeing, but like it was Savannah and she was like pinning Savannah in some strange way. And Savannah kicked out of the pin and Masha like flew up in the air from the kick out and came down with a double stomp. So she punished Savannah for kicking out of the pin. It was amazing. I don't remember ever seeing anything like that. But it's those kind of little innovative things and just her overall general, ring generalship, I guess, that just makes her a joy to watch. She's always on my list of, all right, put everything down and watch Masha. But then, the ref allows a 30-second double team and a double pin on Savannah Evans at the end. So, yeah. The reffing is still in question. It's funny just watching him walk around like, yeah, now this is happening. These two girls are beating the shit out of one girl, so it's fine. It's
And then the
fine.
baby
Just get it
faces
over
too.
with. Yep. And you can both pin her. That's okay. That's legal. Just do it. I swear they stole that finish that they do from. They probably got the idea from Rainbow Mika and Nadeshko from Street Fighter Five, but I can't confirm that. Just kind of reminds me of that.
You see, that kind of reminds me of something. You see that one sequence that Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss did that was straight out of that fight scene from Scary Movie 3.
I remember that being like, didn't somebody put like a side by side on it?
Yeah, and it's like it was like move for move the exact sequence.
Somebody's ribbing. Sometimes the talent is the one ribbing. A lot of ribs. A lot of ribs in WWE. Well, here's a rib. Diener versus PCO. The rib's on everyone. It's on them. It's on us. There it is. I can disavow this match that took place in June from Columbus, Ohio. I can disavow this match because there was a kendo stick in it. So I don't have to pretend that it existed. Is there anything you'd like to say about the match?
No. Other than why did this happen? Why?
Well, you see, the design was really in this intense battle with, I don't know. I just fucking know. I don't care. I don't care. Damn it. There was a kendo stick. I don't have to talk about this. We get a package about Josh Alexander.
Whose package?
Down where?
Down there.
Yeah, we got great big package for Josh. Which is nice because his wife's coming to do the ring announcing, so she'll be helping out with the package.
Apparently she is I actually went and looked something up on her real quick. She is actually a trained worker and wrestler.
Oh yeah, we knew that, didn't we? I thought we knew that.
I think so, but it's a little refresher just in case.
Okay, yes. Yes. PCO is still alive? No, he's dead. Undead. Reanimated. Whatever. He used to be a pirate. But yeah, I didn't hear anything Josh said in this. I had the sound off or something. I remember seeing him talk. They were like interspersing like hallway promo footage. Did he say anything interesting?
No.
Oh. So same old Josh Alexander. Probably said something about wanting to win a match and be the best and how he worked hard. Probably that, right? It was probably something like that. Can anybody confirm that in the chat that he said he wanted to win a match because he works hard? Or it's something he has to do? Or anything like that? Did he talk about his wife being a ring announcer?
And then somebody talking about how he keeps emotions in check.
So that'd be you know what would be great is if Josh Alexander's doing one of these promos with the music and everything, like the music behind it, music underneath, and then just any random wrestler. Doesn't have to, it could be a baby face or a heel or whatever. Like they just walk through, and then as they walk by, they're like, man, you really need to get your emotions in check and just keep walking. And like the music stops, like everything short of a needle scratch, but it's just like the music stops, they walk by and say, man, you need to get your emotions in check. And he's just like, yeah. That should be the thing. Anytime he's on the screen, someone should tell him that. Liz heard the teacher from Charlie Brown when he spoke. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Alexander. Wah, 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 wah. Oh, okay. Let's see. Dango and Bravo versus Dreamer and some guy named Channing Decker. This is a who if I've ever seen one.
I'll give Channing Decker all the credit. At least he tried to get himself over in the time he got on screen.
Did he?
I mean, he definitely showed like character and like charisma. A lot more than your usual, like, just rando picked up and like, okay, we need a body to fill in this match.
He was also standing next to Tommy Dreamer, which helps. Like, you don't even have to do much to appear charismatic and energetic. Dango still hates pro wrestling, in case anybody was wondering. And I say still, even though this was back in August. So it was in Toronto, and maybe I assume Shane Decker is some Canadian local. Then
I
probably
think so.
how this came about.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, as usual, it's one of these. I could see the hating pro wrestling being a shoot if you have to have a Tommy Dreamer match. Faces up, and yeah, that's it. A feel good moment for what I assume is the hometown hero, Channing Decker. Oh. The People's Witch, Taylor Wilde versus the Virtuosa, Deonna Purrazzo from Atlanta in June. Tom and Santino on commentary. Santino is talking about wanting it to be a grapple fest. Like when they grapple. And eventually Deonna grappled Taylor up in a Queen's Gambit and drove her head into the mat for a 1-2-3. So, again, a nice match, but, you know, we're just kind of like, where's TNA already? I don't really, you know, I don't know what else to say about it.
I'll give Deonna a lot of credit. She's one of the few wrestlers who actually protects her finishers. I don't think I've ever seen anybody kick out of the Queen's Gambit, or as soon as she locks in the Venus de Milo, it ends up in a tap out.
Oh, Jordan Grace kicked out of it. I think Trinity may have kicked out of it.
Okay, but those are like, you know, major build-up culmination of the storyline matches.
Well, yeah, we've discussed this quite a bit. I think you and I are both in agreement that, like, when someone kicks out of your finisher, it's time to retire that finisher and add a new finisher, so that it's kind of like it at least makes sense, in the sense of like the old fastball's not getting it done anymore. I got to learn a new pitch, kind of thing. So, yeah. So yeah. Then the main event is the you know, the Yuya Uemura farewell match against Josh Alexander. You know, Josh had to win this match, and he wanted to work hard, and he kept his emotions in check, and he was able to overcome the very emotional Yuya Uemura with a C4 spike. Wait, we'll send you back. We'll send you back to Japan on a bodyboard. I'll just break your neck. Fuck you. Get out of here. Don't ever come back. That's it.
Good times.
Those are your matches for the So It's Come to This, an Impact Clip Show episode. I'm laughing because it's funny, and also maybe a little bit of delirium because I've been up for a while. Take a nap. So yeah, I don't really know what else we can add to what they're kind of shoveling at us here. We called it, right? We said it was way too early to be announcing your rebranding, and it's way too early for you to be on your live event saying this is the last Impact match, because you're basically letting us know you got nothing for a whole month. So this is what we're going to get. And next week's going to be, or this week is going to be the Christmas episode, part 1. And then next week's going to be the Christmas episode, part 2. And then the third week is going to be Best of New Year. Best of TNA New Year's. Best of Countdowns.
The top 10 moments of 2023.
Yep. And then we get a. But then they might even try to put together a go home show for the pay per view the week after that you can enjoy on your just released TNA Plus app.
Again, this is supposed to be like a whole build to a rebrand, a whole new image. Like you're revamping everything, overhauling everything. And you're not doing a single damn thing to get people excited or want to tune in for your big show.
What about the awards superlative show? Didn't they do that last December? Yes, Liz, I think they did.
Yep,
So
I do
we'll
remember
fit
that.
those in there. We'll fit those in there somewhere too. They probably taped that back in August with the with the Dango and Bravo match. Let's do some year-end awards now. Uh, while we have everybody here. Yeah, I can't wait, man. I can't wait. So again, this is plenty of advance warning for you guys to come up with your own content for this show and letting us know what you want to talk about. You can definitely bring up some topics and we can have some fun with this. We might we could do a live marshmallow roast. I don't know. What the what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to do with this shit. God. So yeah, so if you guys got anything left before we get out of here, then now's the time. We can vamp for you for a few minutes and get you time to think of something. Talk about I don't care. You could just go to your front page, whatever website you like to use, pull up a news article and ask us about it. Whatever.
Oh, have you seen these new? I just discovered the super fan episodes of The Office on Peacock.
Super fan episodes. What's that?
It is the episodes, but they're like got more additional footage added to them.
Oh.
Like there's deleted footage that's inserted where it usually goes. And there's some scenes that are extended. Some cold opens are longer. Some cold opens are completely different. Some shows usually the run times like about usually about 24 minutes. There's some that go anywhere from 30 to 35, some even 36, 37 minutes.
Wow. So
Like
if you're one of those insufferable people that talks about how many times they've rewatched The Office, now they really are slacking because they got this whole new season to watch of The Office, or series of The Office, version of The Office, Office 2.0 fan edition.
Yeah, there's some like some are like what like you're watching the episode for the first time.
Well, they would all be like that because I never watched The Office. Labrat says, when did they turn AJ into a He-Man action figure?
When you started,
you would know. You approved all those chemicals after testing that they used on him. If you had told him it was no good, he would have been normal size AJ Styles.
That's what climate change does, pal.
That's right. Causes muscle inflation. Yeah. Let's see what else is new. They put the Barbie movie on Max. I watched that. Is it weird to say it was disappointing?
No.
Okay. Thought they would make a better movie about a plastic doll.
I will say though, I thought it kind of I didn't watch it, but I read like the plot and the synopsis and the story of it. It could actually open the door to like a cinematic universe of like Barbie and the Lego movie.
Yeah, well, they better do something with that because the Lego movie was pretty good and pretty funny, and the Barbie movie wasn't. So,
I mean, well, considering the fact that Will Ferrell played like this, he could be basically the same character that he was in both movies.
Well, that's true. Liz says Rey Mysterio re-signed with WWE, and so did Dom. I assume she means re-signed. She said it like he resigned, like they both walked out, but with a hyphen in there, I think that's what. I think it's re-signed. They re-signed their contracts. So good news. Yeah, and obviously, Retro Rocket had a different opinion. He expected Barbie to suck and was surprised. It didn't really suck. It just wasn't very good. A lot of wasted ideas and some definite ham-fisted moments. Felt a little bit patchwork and slapdash, like they had different writers working on different scenes of the movie and gave it different tones. Um, but to that point of something that I expected to suck, and I don't want to say I was surprised, but it just didn't really suck as bad as I thought it would, which is boring, as the Indiana Jones movie, the newest Dial of Destiny, which is the dumbest name ever. And I thought, this is gonna be terrible. And I watched it. It wasn't terrible. It's just unnecessary and boring. But what can you do?
Dial of Destiny is that like the greatest bar of soap ever created?
Mm-hmm. That's right. You wash yourself with this bar of soap, you can go back in time.
That's some powerful soap.
Yeah, very, very powerful. And in other sort of news, a big thing that I was seeing today was that the Jonathan Majors verdict came out that he was guilty of whatever he's guilty of. But,
yep. And he got cut immediately.
Right. It's like Disney was just waiting with like a pair of scissors on the. So, too bad. Jonathan Majors is good actor, but
yeah, that the other shit kind of overrides that.
Right. However, for people that have been in relationships, you certainly know how things can get sort of twisted and spun out of control. So I'm not going to make any judgment on him as a human being if I wasn't there, but people definitely say some crazy shit and do some crazy shit. So whatever. No big loss. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I don't know.
Ooh, I know who TNA's re-signed, or who's signed.
Jonathan Majors?
Pac-Man Jones.
Oh, Pac-Man Jones. Yeah, that he's not. He's been in a little trouble with the law himself.
Dude, I'll never forget how that's they TNA ribbed themselves on that signing. Remember, they signed him, and then they did the Thanksgiving special where Kurt, they did with Kurt Angle having that Thanksgiving, or he invited everybody, and he said grace, and he said, and thank God that Pac-Man Jones is no longer with TNA.
Yeah, that was on another clip show we had to.
Yep.
Yes, Kurt Angle unironically dressed as a pilgrim, I guess. Like, wasn't that not the best use of Kurt Angle? But hey, he made it work. He tried to make everything work. He did pretty well. Other than that, I don't think I have anything. You got anything else?
Man, not really, unfortunately, man.
Well, we tried. So we'll just have to try again next week. But once again, we're giving you a week ahead start to just make notes of things to talk about for next week's episode. Just anytime you think of something, just make a note in your phone and say, "Oh, that'll be good for the Impact Attack," and then you can bring it up to us, and we can see if we can make something out of that. But we're not going to be able to make anything out of this. Sorry, I'm just.
It was bad.
About these matches.
They gave us nothing.
Nothing. But Brandon, tell the people where they can find you when they're not waiting for you to review Impact clip shows.
As usual, you can find me on Twitter, or as the kids call it these days, the X at TransArchisTia. I am also on Twitch at twitch.tv/MissTia the Transarchist. And I am also on Substack at HMG Brandon. Whoop whoop.
Yes, whoop whoop indeed. And you can find me at Opinion Haver on all your favorite social media platforms. You can find me every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern with Big Ray Hernandez for the Next Level Wrestling review. You can find me every Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, where after the collision we sift through the wreckage. That's Jimmy T and Christopher Ames, and that they're from the PWC. And Chris was not there this past week, but we did have John Enright from the Smack Attack. So, you know, we still had a 3-man booth, and we blasted through collision and sifted through that wreckage, and we found no survivors, unfortunately. But, you know, you can't have everything. You could find me on this week's Monday Locker Room with Ben Hameen, talking about the news and notes of the day. And you can find me on other stuff sometimes. Yeah, at Opinion Haver. Google me. Then you can definitely want to check out Rip Rogers, Wrestling with Rip Rogers channel. Continuing the great string of interviews. Not only did you get Mark Henry 3 weeks ago, not only did you get Ace Steel 2 weeks ago, but this week you got a back-to-back doubleheader of David Marquez and Les Thatcher. Legendary Les Thatcher and David Marquez were on, just barely scratching the surface of fun stories and things to talk about, but you definitely want to check those out. They're on quite a roll over there, and you don't even have to sign up for that. You just go and watch it. It's great. So do that. And Stevie Richards Wrestling Analysis channel, still doing what it's doing. Fitness channel, podcast, everything, tech channels back, all that stuff. Latest video I saw, him talking about the most innovative hot tag, maybe of all time, which is a clickbait title. But Stevie's learning how to do this internet thing. You give him the clickbait title, you put a little photo of yourself in the thumbnail going like this, which you got to be on Channel Attitude to see me do, and then, you know, like, you get your views. So I won't tell you what that most innovative hot tag of all time was. You'll just have to go and watch the short video. It's a 5-minute video, but it's really only like 3 minutes, and the last 2 is like a thank you for the Patreon people. So it's just a list of Patreon names scrolling by. So it's really only a 3-minute video. Go check it out. See the most innovative hot tag, and like it and leave a comment for Stevie. So that's just about everything that we have for you this week. And for Brandon, I'm the vet, and I don't have